Yeah.
If you don't think you got a shot at it, you might as well stay home.
Yeah. That's the reason that Greg Biffle retired, from what he said on the Dale Jr. download. He said that he got tired of going to the track knowing he was going to be a mid-pack driver or finish at the back of the field, you know.
Yeah, even when you, like, I didn't make it, I didn't make it to the Cup Series or whatever, but when I did the starting park stuff, it's disheartening, it kills every bit of fun that you ever had doing it, because you're not actually racing. If you know showing up to the racetrack you're gonna run 15th, you just don't want to do that. That kills the sport.
Yeah. Tony Ave said the same thing. You know, the road course ringer that was driving when you were around?
Yeah, I knew Tony pretty well.
He said in a recent podcast I did with him a few years back that he stopped racing in NASCAR because he was only getting start and park offers.
Right.
Even when it came to the road courses, which he was good at.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. What's your funniest memory as a driver so far?
Oh, boy. It's hard. The funniest memory. That's a tough one. Probably one of the one of the UARA races, the late model stock races. So I was really good friends with Danny O'Quinn Jr.
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of the other guys that ran that deal quite a bit, and we all went out the night. We got rained out at Kingsport, and we all went out, drank beer that night, which was a horrible idea because it was about 115 degrees the next day, and Danny bet me that I wouldn't run without a t-shirt under my fire suit. And that was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life, but it was hilarious because everybody got a kick out of it when it was all said and done. I literally had the zipper on my suit burned my chest.
Oh.
It got so hot. It was not a good idea, but it was pretty funny when it was all said and done. It was absolutely miserable. You would never think that just a t-shirt underneath, I used to wear Nomex even in the stock car stuff just because I was so used to it when I ran open wheel that I still wore it in the stock cars, and you wouldn't think that just having something underneath your suit would make it cooler, but you got to have somewhere for that sweat to absorb to keep you cool.
Did you have like a zipper mark burn on your chest?
Yes, literally. Yeah, right down the center of my chest.
Was it a line or was it just the part where it zips?
You could tell that it was a zipper. Let's just put it that way. You could definitely tell it was a zipper. I'm sure there's some other funny moments out there, but they're probably best described from someone else that was with me.
That's awesome. What's the brightest moment of your career if you had to pick?
The winning at Fort Wayne with the car I built myself. So that indoor midget I talked about at the beginning of the show there, that's a car that I dug out of a garage. Well, me and a friend of mine dug it out of a barn in Ohio. Been sitting since the 80s. And I stripped it and rebuilt it. I actually ended up rebuilding it about 6 times. And finally went to Fort Wayne and sat on every pole you could sit on and won the race. And that was probably one of my proudest moments because I built every piece on it myself and I drove it to victory lane, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, not everyone can say they've won as an owner-driver these days.
Right. I mean, now that race might not mean a lot to other people. It means a lot to a select few, but I set out to win that race and that race specifically for years, and so accomplishing it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes you a relentless and unstoppable driver, I'd say.
Yeah, relentless is a good way to put it. Whether that's a gift or a curse, I won't know, but
Yeah.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Still costs a lot of money at the end of the day. Time still costs you money, no
Yeah.
matter how you
No matter what.
no matter how you shake it.
Yeah.
Time is still money at the end of the day.
Yep, for sure. So, where can people find you these days?
I'm just hanging out in Raleigh right now. I've been back and forth to Mooresville. I lived in Mooresville for the better part of 12 years, and I got married recently, and my wife took a job at Duke in Raleigh, so I've been over here since then. But I went over the summer there into the fall. I built a drift car for Alex Bowman, and so I've been back building race cars in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, sounds like you're getting and staying busy, you know.
Yeah, I wish I was racing. I'd be glad to go back doing it in any capacity. I just can't afford to do it on my own. So.
Yeah. So, what legacy do you hope to leave behind with your race car building and your driving career, even though it was kind of short?
That's a good question. Just to inspire the youth to, if you want something, just go for it. Just work hard and do what you love to do for as long as you can do it.
Sounds good, man.
I know I'd still be doing it if I could, but it takes a lot of money these days, so it is a lot tougher than it used to be. It's not all about talent anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, someone told me recently that you have to have a PhD in order to get there, which is Papa has dough.
That is a great way to explain that. I'm just curious to, hopefully I'm alive to see when there aren't any dads or dads that are multi-million-dollar business owners, when they're no longer, because they won't be forever. Well, then what are we gonna then where are we gonna pick our race car drivers from?
Yeah, there won't be a lot of PhDs in that time.
No, there won't be. There won't be. I hate it because there is some really good, talented young guys out there, but there's so many more that are never going to get to do it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I hope we get to a point where talent is considered more than PhDs.
Well, I tell people all the time, the people that don't know much about racing, I start talking about all the things I've done, and I always bring up that, racing is the only professional sport in the world where, if it doesn't matter what your talent level is, as long as you have someone to fund it, you can do it. To where if you can't play baseball, you don't get to play in the show. If you can't play football, you can't buy your way to an NFL roster. It sucks in all reality, but that's the world we live in.
Yeah. Hopefully things will change and more talents like you will be picked up. I really hope that happens.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not saying I'm the most talented guy there is, but I'm pretty sure I can do it.
Yeah, I think you can too, and if you believe in yourself, everything's possible.
Yeah, that's the trick. You gotta. If we all put our pants on the same way, are you gonna keep yours on longer than the next guy?
Yeah. You never know. If opportunity holds up, maybe you'll be able to start a podcast, and meet people who are relentless and unstoppable. And maybe it'll be because you meet someone big who greatly impacts your life, and maybe even an actor in Hollywood. They may leave an impact on you. You may befriend them, and they may transform your world as a mentor and coach. You never know.
Yeah, you don't. You never. That's why. I always used to say that when you go into a bar, don't be afraid to talk to that old guy that's sitting there, looks like a loner. Because I've met more people that have millions of dollars that would love to spend it on something that way than I have anywhere else.
Yeah, and you never know. Maybe that old man has a kid. Maybe that old man has a kid who grows up to become an actor and, gets nominated for an Oscar for a movie about a Western and all that. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Strange things have happened.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's all I have for now, but I thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Quick story before I go. Arca Garage, early 2000s. I was under the car and on a creeper, and Benny Parsons walked up, and he said, "How do you pronounce this kid's name?" And I had no clue who it was, and I just yelled from underneath the car, "You don't say Knupp, or I knew you were coming." Or you don't say Knife, or I knew you were coming, so you don't say Knupp. And I rolled out and I saw it was Benny, and I was completely embarrassed. He goes, "That's awesome. You have yourself a big time, son."
Talking to Benny Parsons, not everyone can get to say they've done that.
That's true. That was pretty cool deal.
So everybody, let's thank Brandon Knupp for appearing on SFM, and we'll see you next time on the channel.